my question is, you already told me about which kind of like of service you're offering, who are kind of like your clients, and I would say, from your experience, which are the hardest challenge for your customers? Is like when they like start engaging with you, is okay, tell me about your problem. What are the best challenges for them they need to like overcome?
So let me start by saying, when I look at networking, I see it as 3 parts. So you have, what do you do before you get to an event? How do you prepare? What do you do once you're there? The interaction, and how do you break into a conversation and that kind of thing. And then there's the third part, and that is, what do you do after an event? How do you manage the follow-up? And whether you are a quiet person or not, that follow-up piece is the biggest challenge for everyone.
Okay.
You ask, so to me, that's actually the most important part. And at the same time, it's the part that most people suck at the most.
Okay, makes sense. Well, actually, now I think this is kind of like related with another question that is like I have in my mind. That is like, when you're telling me, okay, you prepare, then you are at the event eventually, and then follow up, those 3 pieces, okay? But I think what we are never trying to like remove is the in-person meeting. It's like,
yes,
we are not saying here, because now, of course, and there's a lot of like platforms and technology involved, but we are not saying here that we want to take that part out. It's like, how important is for you still, and will be, keep going, like still going to be like so important to have that relation, like in-person relation. Doesn't matter what's going to happen before and after, right?
Right. Well, and that's a good point, because we live in a society, there's all kinds of online connection, right? You don't even have to leave your office to make connections. But we are, as humans, we are still wired to connect interpersonally. That has not evolved past that. And there is a completely different connection that you make with someone when you're meeting face to face. And that has not been replaced. So you can meet people online, but then running into them at an event or arranging to get together with them on purpose, I say running into them at an event, but making a conscious effort to, let's meet up for coffee or something like that. Nothing replaces that. That takes the relationship to a whole different level. Or the opposite, meeting somebody. I was at a breakfast this morning, and so meeting some people and then connecting with them on social media platforms to maintain the connection.
That's, I love that's thought, because we truly believe that in this in-person situation it's been there like for 100 years. It's going to keep going, and this connection that you can develop like in person is never going to happen like in a different way. However, as you said, okay, how you are going to follow up, and then is when you can use or take advantage of those like platforms and technology, whatever you want to like introduce into that relationship to make it better, to improve it, to make it like deeper. But the main thing here, and this is what we're trying to like to make it more clear. I mean, first, there's always this feeling that you have to be involved in sales just to do networking. It's like, and we always try to say, at least from our perspective as a company and myself, that not everything is about like selling something or buying something. It's about building relationships with people, even if you are in sales or not. It's like you are selling something always. Really? Yeah, and not like even you're not a sales guy, okay? Yeah. But on top of that, when you, let's say, interact with a new person during some networking event and you share or exchange your contact information somehow, the goal is not, oh, now Lori has my email or Lori has my phone number. It's, okay, what can happen from that first connection, that spark, how we can like develop something from there. So the goal is not to just connect. I mean, like just share my contact information, and that is worthless. It's exactly what you just said. How I'm going to follow up? What is going to happen from there? How we can make our connection deeper? How we can start growing both networks, and your network get benefits from what I do, or my network from what you do, or both networks. So now this networking situation, it's exponential for all of us, I would say, right? What do you think about this?
Yes, I completely agree. And it's about building a relationship. And so that first connection is just the beginning.
Yeah, it's like
that's what the follow-up part is about, is now about building that relationship. How do you continue the conversation? And so so actually going back to one of the things that I teach people for networking is, when you go to an event, what is the question, Sergio, what is the question that everybody asks?
What do you do?
What do you do? It's a horrible, horrible question, because
it's like you get like you fall into a frame.
Right.
This is it. This is what you do.
Right. And most people answer with their job title, which doesn't even tell you what they do. It's just their title. Mm-hmm. Okay. So just the thing I teach my clients is to ask better questions, get into a more substantial and more interesting conversation, because not only is it going to make your time standing there at an event more interesting, but the follow-up part is easier now, because you have something to follow up with. Oh, we talked about that book. I went and got it and it was fantastic. Can we get together and talk about, what your thoughts about this, the strategies presented in this book were, or whatever it is. You were telling me about your vacation, and I came across this article about where you went, and you just have so much more to build a relationship. The thing I think people sometimes forget is that business is business. You're selling, you're buying, whatever, but it's about connecting with another human. You have like business to consume, B2C sales and B2B sales, but really it comes down to humans talking to each other. Businesses as their own entity, they don't buy anything. It's the people that buy.
Totally. Yeah. Companies don't buy services. I mean, yes, but from people.
Right.
There's always people involved in the process. Yeah, totally. That's super like powerful. So my question, for example, now would be, if you can like give, let's talk about like superheroes now. Okay. So let's say you are like a superpower giver. So you can give one superpower to your customers. I mean, to the people who is working with you. Is like, what would be something that would help them to do this networking process easier somehow? I don't know. It's a crazy one, but
it is a crazy one.
At least you don't have to be shy, for example.
I think for some of them, it's giving them confidence to feel comfortable walking into a room, and to realize that it's not about them. Like, they're self-conscious because they feel like all the eyes are on them, but it's not even about them. It's not about you. It's about the person you're talking to. So if you could have feel comfortable connecting. I mean, it's like walking into a room and looking forward to meeting a new friend.
Yeah, well, I would say I feel like so related what you said. I was like very, very shy when I was a kid. Yeah. But eventually, when you are in your group of friends, you're one of the guys who is like, oh, I can tell jokes, I have fun, and blah blah blah. So that's just this icebreaker, I would say, that you feel part of this group that is like telling jokes or having drinks or certain things. And of course, as you said, all of us, we are working, we're doing our living, but this is not who you are. You are not what you're doing for a living. You are much more than that. Right. And part of who you are is your job. and actually some people love it and some people don't. Yeah, I think like people like you and me, we are lucky, like we are like involved in our own craziness but doing what we love, even like it maybe it's like super like much more harder than going and work for somebody else. That's fine too. But my point here is like, okay, all of us are much more than your title. This is just like a small part of who we are. And at the same time, we are all of us like selling or buying some stuff. And this is like that. So if you're telling me, okay, maybe what some people need is kind of like this icebreaker to make them feel, oh, hello, how are you, blah, blah, blah. And for some people was like, as been happening like for a long time, okay, this is my card. Oh, now you have an excuse to start talking because the other person can say, oh, you work for company X. Oh, I like this card, or whatever, I like your tie. But I think, and I 100% agree with you that mostly of the situations is like with this icebreaker, but what we cannot like avoid is what is going to happen from there, because that's the whole point of the whole thing. It's like to build those relationships. It's not just a matter of like, oh, now Lori has my phone number. That's it, I'm done. I did my job. And I give 500 of those. And it's like, well, now I'm great. I know a lot of people. It's like, no, you don't know a lot of people. You just give 500 cards, right? So we're trying to, in our side, to understand those human relations and how people interact, and which actually is the whole point of interact, as you said, is not just like sometimes not to buy or sell something, is to create some link between people. And at the same time, we truly believe that through technology, we can use, especially those follow-ups, to make those connections deeper and to increase the opportunities from both sides. But at the same time, how we can use this use case of exchanging contact information, just use it as a spark and introduce technology to go all the way like frictionless, like super smooth, all the way from this like first handshake, and okay, try to build something from there.